I'm scared of my wife, and it low-key turns me on. We've been married 4 years, and she's always been the confident one. I'm the guy who apologizes when someone bumps into me. She's the one who handles confrontation, makes the phone calls, deals with customer service. I've always admired that about her, but I never really understood what it meant until last week. I came home early from work because I forgot my laptop. Our neighbor's car was blocking our driveway again. This guy, mid-30s, drives a BMW, acts like he owns the street. He's done this maybe 8 times in the past 2 months. Every single time, I've left a polite note on his windshield. Once I even knocked on his door and asked him nicely to stop. He just smiled and said, "Yeah, man, my bad," and kept doing it anyway. I parked on the street and walked up to the house, already feeling that familiar frustration building. That's when I heard voices coming from the garage. Angry voices. I opened the side door, and there she was, my wife, standing in the middle of our garage in her work clothes, arms crossed, staring down our neighbor. He was leaning against his BMW, smirking like this was all some kind of joke. She pointed at his car blocking our driveway and said, "Calm as anything. You've got 60 seconds to move it, or I'm having it towed. Timer starts now." He laughed. Actually laughed out loud. "You wouldn't actually do that over a parking spot. That's crazy." She pulled out her phone without breaking eye contact and started counting down. 58, 57, 56. His smile started to fade just a little. "Come on, that's a little dramatic, don't you think?" 42, 41, 40. I just stood there in the doorway, completely frozen. She wasn't yelling, wasn't making threats. Her voice was completely level, almost bored, just counting down like she was reading numbers off a screen. "Look, I'll move it in a few minutes. I'm just waiting for my wife to bring something down." 28, 27, 26. He shifted his weight, the smirk completely gone now. You could see the panic starting to set in. "This is insane. You're being completely unreasonable about this." 15, 14, 13. That's when he broke, grabbed his keys from his pocket, and practically jogged to his car, muttering something under his breath. She didn't even watch him leave, just stood there counting until she heard his engine start and the car pull out onto the street. Then she turned around and saw me standing there in the doorway, probably looking like an idiot. "Oh, you're home early," she said, like absolutely nothing had happened. "Dinner's in 20 minutes. I'm making that pasta you like." I couldn't even form words, just nodded and headed inside. That night, I couldn't stop replaying it in my head, the way she didn't flinch, didn't negotiate or try to explain herself, just gave him a simple choice and stuck to it with zero emotion, no anger, no frustration, just absolute certainty that this was how it was going to go. Around midnight, I was still awake, staring at the ceiling. I finally turned to her and asked, what if he'd refused? What if he'd just stood there past zero and called your bluff? She was reading in bed. She put her book down on her chest and looked at me like I'd asked the strangest question. Then I would have called the tow truck. I already had the number ready. She picked up her phone from the nightstand and showed me. She'd literally had the tow company's number typed in before she even confronted him. Her thumb had been hovering over the call button the entire time she was counting. "You were actually serious," I said, still processing. "Obviously. Why would I bluff about something like that?" That's when it really hit me. She wasn't trying to intimidate him. She wasn't playing some psychological power game. She'd simply decided what was going to happen and then made it happen. No fear, no second guessing, no backup plan because she didn't need one. And I realized something I'd never fully admitted to myself before. I don't just love her. I'm genuinely intimidated by her. The way she moves through the world with this quiet certainty that I've never had in my entire life. And honestly, that does something for me I can't fully explain. Something I'm not embarrassed about anymore. The next morning I watched her get ready for work, doing her makeup in the bathroom mirror. She caught me staring in the reflection and smiled. "What?" "Nothing," I said. "Just thinking about how you handled that guy yesterday." She turned around and kissed my forehead. "Someone has to. And we both know it's not going to be you." She's absolutely right. Someone does have to. And I'm so incredibly glad it's her.